Hello, I'm back. Thank you to those who were worried about my yesterday's live update. I didn't make it because I didn't have time and strength, honestly. I have spent the whole day just working with various projects, trying to raise some money and to help the volunteers who are buying critical equipment and critical medical supplies for the army. Thank you to those who support our efforts. Number of people contacted me during the day asking for some kind of direction where to send their help, and I connected them with various volunteering organizations. They are becoming, by the way, increasingly specialized. Some of them make more emphasis on medical issues, some on tactical needs of the army, equipment, bulletproof vests, and so on, and others still deal with refugees, internally displaced people, and those in the most urgent need. The last day was extremely busy and hectic, and today is not very different, but I decided to still to record this video and not to keep you waiting, and some people keep messaging me if I'm okay, if my family is okay. So far, relatively okay. We woke up today with extremely disturbing news, which you probably have already heard on your media, about this nuclear factory that has been taken over by Russian troops. It's been taken over during basically several days. There was like back and forth pushes, not really fighting directly, but civilians blocking the entrance to the station for the Russian troops, and the brave specialists who work in the factory kept everything in good condition so that the reactors do not explode. That was the most serious concern for everyone. But the things changed as of this morning, because Russians actually attacked the nuclear plant. They shot with tanks, with heavy artillery, and they were shooting right into the reactors. Luckily, so far, the reactors were not damaged. Again, the heroic personnel of the plant, they managed to turn down several. There are 6 blocks, 6 reactors there. So each one of them is like potentially new Chernobyl. And being shot with tanks and heavy artillery doesn't really help to protect the nuclear station, as you can imagine. So what they did, they put to sleep, kind of, I don't understand this very well, but brought down 4 or 5 of those 6, and one was still working. What it means? It means that Russians basically want to take Europe and the world, not to mention Ukraine, hostage to potential nuclear apocalypses. Because even if one of those 6 blocks explodes at some point, we will have a new Chernobyl, and we might have 3, 4, 5, 6 Chernobyls altogether. And to make things worse, we are getting extremely disturbing reports, but these are official reports, so I trust them. Might be not 100% accurate, but probably true, is that in recent hours, just 2-3 hours ago, it's not simply Russian troops that took over the factory, the station, but those Kadyrovцы, those kind of Chechen fighters, pro-Russian Chechen fighters, who are like absolutely crazy, absolutely insane. Those are like jihadis, I don't know, Putinist jihadists. That's probably offensive even for the Islamists to be called associated with them, because these are people who are positioning themselves as slaves of Putin, as loyal servants of Putin, and they will do whatever they want with all their barbaric fervor. And they took over the plant. There are reports that they killed the personnel, and now no one is responsible. No one can technically manipulate those reactors. I hope this news are not confirmed. I hope there is a plan B, some Russian personnel coming in, or someone surviving, keeping track of what's going on in those nuclear reactions there, because otherwise it's even scary to voice what can happen there. Second development today is that Russians, it's clear that they went for the scenario of very destructive, very bloody, inch by inch war and advancement into Ukraine, absolutely disregarding any victims on their side or on Ukrainian side. They are targeting mostly civilians. They have broken their teeth with our army. They cannot fight army properly, so they started to shoot, to shell civilians even more barbarically. There are so many refugees and so many civilian casualties, so many symbolic executions of people, like we heard this killings of school personnel and school directors in the cities or towns or even villages that were occupied by Russian army. And this is just moral terror, what they are doing, inflicting moral terror on people, and probably with the intent to provoke a larger wave of refugees or to scare people to death, as if people are not yet scared. I don't know how to describe this, but if you take this Chechen jihadis taking over nuclear plant and this absolutely unmotivated killings of civilians, with the shellings of the cities, with massive casualties from both sides, and the Russian troops have already lost like 10,000 live power. This is just beyond imagination and beyond description. And Putin had an address to the nation yesterday, and in this address it was very clear he is simply lunatic. He has simply lost his mind. He is just citing his creed that he has to destroy Ukraine, he has to take over Ukraine and Europe. He is not covering any longer that his plans extend by far more than to occupation of Ukraine. And what they are planning now, as far as we can judge from all news sources and various reports from the ground, is that they bring people from ordinary civilians from Crimea, from some parts of Russia, and they recruit people who are pro-Russian, sympathetic to Russia, towards Russia in Ukraine, which is harder and harder to do, because after those shellings, even people who were kind of pro-Russian in their mentality, in their outlook, are not anymore so. And so they want to bring these people from Crimea, Russia, and find some local people to demonstrate in the support of Russian invasion and to demonstrate in the support of those parts of Ukraine that are already occupied being joined to Russia. So this seems to be a plan, a local plan, a grassroots plan, and the strategic plan is to take over the capital or any other large city and place there like kind of occupational administration, to find some traitors among our politicians, or to bring someone from Russia who is somehow vaguely associated with Ukraine, perhaps even this infamous former president Yanukovych, and to position him as the new leader of liberated Ukraine that is now friendly towards Russia, and then deal with them as real representatives of Ukrainian people, which would be not so alien to the Russian way of doing politics. They have done that before in many cases, and they can do it again. So creating a puppet administration and then dealing with them as if they were real representatives and real authority of the country. And final point I want to make about the situation on the ground, no, not the final one, there will be one more, but important one, that Belarus is more and more involved in the conflict. There were dozens of rockets fired from Belarus over these past days. There were some invasions from Belarusian territory with Russian troops, but also involving Belarusian troops. And there is more and more talk that Belarus is completely integrated now with Putinist Russia and is serving as a kind of proxy power in the invasion of Ukraine, although so far no large-scale invasion of Belarusian troops was observed. And then finally, I want to say a few words about people on the ground. Those who stayed in Lviv, those who stayed in western Ukraine, who are not so far, thanks to God, directly targeted by any rockets, bombs and so on. They are all working hard every day, whole day, day and night, to help the front lines or to help the refugees that still flow here as an intermediary base and then are relocated into the EU through Poland, Slovak Republic, Romania, perhaps Hungary. I don't have exact data on that border. It's a small portion of Ukrainian border with Hungary. So the people are extremely busy, extremely hardworking and motivated, and get all support for the army and for the refugees and for the local self-defense units as they can get. Many people from the West come to help, either come physically here, some of them as volunteering fighters for Ukrainian battalions, some as with humanitarian aid convoys, and a huge number of people are calling, messaging us, sending some support, medical supplies, information, money, whatever is possible to send to support our fight. It's clear now that this war will be long, will be extremely bloody, but we are sure, we have faith that we will overcome, we will be victorious in this, regardless all the cowardice of Western governments who have hesitated for years to brand Putinist Russia as a terrorist state, as a criminal state, and now when they are seeing its real nature, they cannot do, or they think they cannot do anything to stop it. We still believe some things are possible to do. You have to pressure your governments, you have to speak to them, you have to write more, you have to demonstrate more if you want to help yourself. I'm not even saying any longer to help Ukraine, just help your own countries, your own people, because even in the best case scenario, which I do not believe, being that Putin stops in Ukraine, you will get, I don't know, 7-10 million refugees in the EU, which is no fun for anyone. And believe me, we Ukrainians don't want to leave our country. Those who wanted had numerous chances by now. And those who know me know that I have lived in, I lived earlier in Europe. I lived for years, couple years in the United States. I travel all the time. I love Western countries, but this is my country. And many people think like myself. We don't want to become refugees, and you don't want us to become refugees in your countries. So please support us and support yourself. Prevent the further aggression of Putin against the peaceful countries of Europe and the stabilization of the whole world. For those of you who want to send some financial assistance, below this video you have to click expand. There is a longer financial details section. Unfortunately, those bank details, they are huge. I cannot put them on slides because they won't be recognizable. So you just have to go under the video, in the description to the video, click expand, and there you will get financial details of the trusted fund, Help to the Frontlines. You can send your money via bank transfer to them, and there is a PayPal account to which you can also drop some cash, and all of that will be immediately put to good use in Ukraine to help people survive this terrible catastrophe. Thank you very much, and pray for us and think about us and act on our behalf and on your own behalf to save the world from this imminent Armageddon. Thank you.